와 있어서 집어넣고 일어설 때 오라니까 안 오고. 황보명적 와 있어서 빨리 집어넣어.
조끼 챙겨야 되는 거 아니야?
조끼만 입어. 방법이 없다.
말할 때는 마스크를 벗고.
아니야, 벗으면 안 돼. 침이 튀겨서 안 돼, 마이크.
그러니까 애들을 좀 밀고 튀어.
아니, 마이크가 튄다니까, 침. 어떻게 연결이 됐나요?
아니요, 터졌어요. 왜? 지금 새로 만들어야 된다, 지금. 이게 업데이트가 돼가지고. 그 시간이요.
혹시 모델 소프트웨어 왔어요? 김상환 선생님이 쓰라고 볼 수가 있었는데 동영상 같은 경우는 내가 이제 동영상 편집을 하고 나면 그걸 단지 저장 프로젝트로 저장한 다음에 다음 편집을 못해요. 그래서 그거 편집이 안 되고 그거로 딱 이제 그게 돼가지고 안 되는데 근데 이거 하다가 저장했다가
됐어요? 시작할까요? 자, 사회자 앞에 나가서 준비.
2학년에 스트리밍을 이제 주소를 올렸어요. 새로 시작해가지고. 그래서 2학년들이 지금 들어오고 있는지 모르겠고요. 제가 방송을 한번 때려야 되는데,
방송을
그, 무전기. 눈에 빨리 가져.
너는 뭐지?
위에 2학년 채널 열어봐라.
걔는 방송관이가 마이샤스 좀 잘 입어라.
공공만 딱 안에만 집어넣으면 완벽.
2학년 채널 열어봐라.
얘기했어요.
내려버릴까?
오늘
내가 좀 해라.
어제는 책을 오늘 읽어가지고 나한테 하루
못 오냐?
계속 안 하는 거 만들어내는 거 하나만
일단 시작하죠. 채널 만들어졌으니까 쌤들이 아마 하실 겁니다.
네.
학습만 올려있으니까.
자, 사회자. 선생님. 1번.
심사위원이 안 계시.
그래도 해야죠.
카메라 여기 있어야지. 카메라 잡아야 되잖아.
자, 사회자.
시작해요?
응.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Bemon English Speaking Contest. I am Kim Jun-woo from Class 105. It's an honor to host the important school event. And before we start, let's introduce our teachers as the judges. Judge 1, Mr. Lee Do-soo. And Judge 2, Mr. Choi Sung-do. And Judge 3, Mr. Lee Chae-yeon. and I'll introduce our first speaker. Our first speaker is Lee Shi-hyung from class 104, and his title is The Continuation of Racism. And let's give him a big applause.
Hello everyone, my name is Ishi Hyung and I'm going to tell you about racism. There are many news topics these days, such as Corona and racism. Today I'm going to tell you about racism. Recently, in the United States, there was a case where a black man named George Floyd died due to excessive suppression by the police. Since this incident, many stories about racism have been heard. Racial discrimination refers to disregarding or treating racial discrimination because they are different. Such racial discrimination is targeted not only for Black people, but also for Asians. Among the many who have worked on such racism, the most representative is Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King was a pastor who worked hard to secure human rights of Black people in the United States. He won the bus boycott campaign non-violently in a discriminatory bus seat system, and bus seat system that divides the bus seats into white seats and black seats. The most famous of his speeches was "I Have a Dream." The Black people's right to vote was also guaranteed by him, but he was assassinated by a white man at the age of 37. In particular, there are a lot of racial discrimination in football, which it leads to scornful behavior that makes fun of Asians and criticism of Black players. To reduce this racial discrimination, the YouTube channel Shoe for Love are campaigning along with other international soccer players, such as Park Ji-sung and Lee Young-pyo. The slogan of this campaign is "We can kick racism." It literally means that racism is thrown away. And to participate in this campaign, it is like kicking racism by bicycle kick, the most wonderful kick in soccer. Park Ji-sung and Lee Young-pyo are seeking consent of the player who previously played in Europe together to participate in this campaign and are trying to inform more and more people around the world about this issue. Currently, many companies such as Facebook and Renoma are helping this campaign. I would like this campaign to be widely known all around the world and eliminate discrimination against Black people and other races as well as Asians. Thank you for listening to my speech.
And our next speaker is An Won-young from class 206. And his title is "What is Important to You?" And let's give him a big applause.
Hello, I'm An Won-young. A month ago, I watched the movie Whiplash, written and directed by Damien Chazelle. The title Whiplash means 채찍질 in Korean. The movie is categorized as music, but quite different from the others. It has a strong message, and that's why I chose this topic. The movie is about a relationship between a young, ambitious jazz drummer and an abusive band leader. Andrew Neiman is a first-year student at the prestigious Draper Conservatory. He aspires to become a world-class drummer. Terence Fletcher is a conductor and band leader of studio band, which is the best band in the college. One day, Fletcher sees Neiman playing the drum and invites him to the band as a sub-drummer. From day one, Fletcher aggressively blames Neiman with fair words and violence. Fletcher always wants perfect play, saying not quite my tempo. Neiman sheds tears and decides to practice harder. To be a core drummer, he practices frantically and breaks up with his girlfriend. His hands are bloody, but he keeps practicing. And finally, he plays the drum well as a core drummer in a significant contest, and they win. But unfortunately, on his way to the next contest, Neiman has a car accident. He is hurt, but insists on playing. Eventually, he makes a big mistake and messes up the whole band play. This results in his expulsion. Later, Neiman knows one of Fletcher's students killed himself because of Fletcher. So he anonymously reports Fletcher's abuse, and he is also expelled. A few months later, they meet by chance, and Fletcher asks Neiman to be a special drummer in his new band on a festival. So a few days later, Neiman is on the stage. Fletcher introduces a playlist, but the list is different from what Neiman knows. And then Fletcher whispers to him, "I know you reported." With panic, the play starts, and Neiman messes up again. He is discouraged. But instead of getting out of the stage, he suddenly starts playing solo. Fletcher tries to stop him, but he can't. And then he just conducts to the music because Neiman's play is perfect. And finally, Neiman is beyond the limit. So what is the message of this music movie? Now I want to talk about the two men. Fletcher always wants perfection. So he stimulates their students with yelling and lets them compete again and again. In the movie, he says, "There are no two words in English more harmful than good job, because it means just enough." Making them to overcome their limit is Fletcher's role and goal. So he thinks his philosophy is never wrong, and finally makes Neiman a great drummer. I agree with him in some degree. Today, many people, including me, give up easily and just think that's enough. Indeed, I think we need to change this attitude. But to do, this way is not the best way. That's unethical. About Neymar, he has a clear goal. He always wants to be the best drummer, so never gives up and tries his best to achieve their goal with blood, sweat, and tears. And even he overcomes his limits. But is he truly happy? Does he truly success? His pure aspiration becomes a crazy obsession after meeting Fletcher. The director said Fletcher will die at early service because of the drug addiction. Looking at the research, they both achieve their goals, but they only focus on result, not on process. How about you? What is more important to you, process or result? There is no answer. I just want you to watch this movie and be deep in your own thoughts. Thank you for listening.
Our third speaker is Han Sung-bin from class 102, and his title is Our Lives Changed by COVID-19. And let's give him a big applause.
Hello, I'm Song-bin. I will talk about the untaxed society. In Corona-19, there have been big changes in our lives. Among them, the biggest impact on us was the change in our society to a non-face-to-face society. Experts predict that even after the end of Corona-19, the world order will not be the same as before. Then what kind of change will non-face-to-face society bring to us? First of all, the perception of housing is changing. The importance of house is growing as it takes longer to stay at home for social distance. Then there is our table change. The market for delivery food is growing even more as it is culture of eating at home or buy untaxed bread. Next is the non-face-to-face education. The stationery store scene, which is noisy with students preparing for the new semester every spring, is now hard to find. The role of the stationery store owner in front of the school has been replaced by an online shopping mall employee or delivery worker. As face-to-face classes turn into non-face-to-face classes, the students can take classes relaxed in a comfortable place they want, and the effects of classes can be even higher because they are not restricted by time and space. As education turned to change it to non-face-to-face, the company's way of working is also changed from the form of the telecommuting. There are many advantages of teleworking. First of all, the productivity of the work is improved. Remote workers, they work twice as much at home as at work. Second, it saves money. It can save money because it can reduce the company's operating or maintenance costs. the people increasingly saying that the world people are increasingly saying that that they can choose the companies that can work remotely. Then, however, the non-face-to-face society does not have only these advantages. First of all, the social and psychological distance of people is increasing due to the non-face-to-face society. Another drawback is that the communication method in which only one direction of voice is conveyed through video calls can provide a subtle sense of disconnect. As the non-face-to-face continues, the number of people who feel lonely is also cited as disadvantage. As they can't meet people and stay at home for a long time, more and more people are suffering from the depression because they feel lonely. In the age of Corona-19, which is changing rapidly, we will have to adapt. Thank you.
Our fourth speaker is Jung Min Jae from class 207, and his title is Soft Power and its Influence on Society. And let's give him a great applause.
Hello everyone. Nowadays, K-pop is getting popular more and more. Thanks to the development of K-pop, the reputation of Korea is getting better as well. These are all related to the term soft power. Now, I will introduce the definition of soft power and analyze how soft power works. The word soft power was formed by Professor Joseph Nye of the University of Harvard. Soft power means the ability to achieve positive outcomes by attracting and persuading others. And it is the opposite of hard power. Joseph Nye divided soft power into three different factors: the culture, the government with political value, and positive global engagements. Today, I will mainly talk about the culture. Culture can be spread rapidly by social media or the internet. If a country's culture is spread around the world and has a good response, it is likely that the soft power of the country will rise. Then how can soft power benefit the nation? Having soft power on the global stage brings significant advantages. Unique soft power attracts more tourists, which raises revenue from tourism. Moreover, it also makes countless spin-offs, such as movies, games, and goods. From the diplomatic point of view, it is likely that countries will prefer exchanges with nations that have more soft power and those with less soft power. If a country has bad reputation and little soft power, it would be hard for a country to attract investments from foreign countries. This will lead to the slump of labor market and eventually devastation of the economy. Then how can we improve Korea's soft power? According to the report of Soft Power 30, which is an annual index published from the Portland Communications, Korea was rated 19th among the world. Korea had relatively high scores on digital and enterprising factors, but low scores on the others, including education, government, and culture. This scoreboard shows how Korea should prepare the future. We are already ranked high in the digital industry, having fast internet and sophisticated semiconductors. Eventually, we have to gain foreign people's support. For this, we need a clear vision and effective promotions. maybe we can take a look at how other countries have grown their soft power. For example, Japan underwent an economic crisis in the 1990s and changed their key industries from cars and electronic devices to culture. Japan is currently well known to the West for many traditional cultures, such as sushi, samurai, ninja, and more. This was possible due to the works of utilizing their traditions into animations, video games, and so on. As a result, the Japanese culture has spread rapidly to the West, and they are currently ranked in the 8th place in the report of Soft Power 30. Unlike Japan, China shows an example of inappropriate policies in terms of soft power. As we know, the Chinese government rejects democracy and adopts communism. So China puts emphasis on their own country and denies most foreign cultures. They don't even have a good relationship with other countries like the USA, Vietnam, or the Philippines due to conflicts about trading and territory. In this case, we can say that China does not have a good soft power model. One-sided and selfish policies do not help reinforce soft power. It is more important to have a good relationship with other countries' government and the people. Soft power is not as difficult as most people think. Spreading the culture and raising the reputation of your country is gaining soft power. Since the importance of soft power is emphasized nowadays, it is necessary that Korea should have more interest in gaining soft power. Soft power can be a solution to what we face today: economic problems, international disputes, and foreign policies. Thank you for listening.
Our fifth speaker is Choi Jong-hyun from class 103, and his title is The Meaning of Color, the Meaning of Life. And let's give him a great applause.
My name is Choi Jong-hyun, and I want to talk about the meaning of color, the meaning of life. Have you ever imagined a world made only with black and white? Like a monofilm, the world must be so boring and flat. But we're in a colorful world that embraces countless colors. Each color stimulates our senses, even colors change our life. So I want to talk about how colors change our life. Stop sign, fire engine, apple, Santa Claus. Which color do you find out what I mentioned? Red. Exactly, pure, bright, and strong red. Red was used in our life as an emergency sign or alarm. Red is the same color as blood. Same color as blood. So red makes people enthusiastic and violent. Red is the same color as blood, so red can make us more alive and powerful. Using red, we can focus more on the sign. For example, emergency sign, sale banner, and YouTube icon. Under contrary, look at greenery. At once, we can feel comfortable and calm, like we are staying in a deep forest and exhale and inhale fresh air. Today is called Echo Word, so the color greenery becomes more important and basic. Greenery comes from nature. People want to draw nature into our life, so people use greenery in interior design. Let's move to another color, classic blue. Classic blue is a deep watercolor. The image of color blue is confidence and consistency. But blue has been changed to a negative image because of COVID-19. COVID-19 makes people depressed, so people called it Corona Blue. The last color I want to introduce is violet purple. Violet means the vast and limitless night sky, the mistress of the cosmos. Purple is out of blue and red, so it represents gentleness. The color violet purple is not an ordinary color. If you add the color to your own daily life, it could give you a special meaning. I'll make a conclusion. Until now, I explained the meaning of several colors. We live in a various and colorful world like rainbow. The meaning of color is also various. We should live in, but if you define your life only one color, you will live very simple and boring life. But you should live in thousands and millions of colors. We don't live in black and white world. We don't live in only one color too. Use, combine, and harmonizes with the meaning of various colors. Then make your color with your special meaning and live your own unique life. Thank you for listening.
And our sixth speaker is Park Seung-gyu from Class 102, and his title is How Semiconductor Works. And let's give him a great applause.
Hello everyone, my name is Park Seung-gyu and I'm first grade in Belmont High School. From the topic that I'm going to talk about is how semiconductors work, and please listen carefully what I'm going to say. We usually use electronic products such as smartphones, computers, and refrigerators. Especially, I've been using it more as I've been taught online recently. The key component of these electronic products is semiconductors. From now on, I will explain the operating principles of semiconductors, which are the core of high technologies. Today, most semiconductor chips are created with silicon. You may have heard expression like Silicon Valley and the silicon economy, and that's why silicon is the heart of any electronic device. First, let's take a close look at silicon. Silicon is a very common element. For example, it is the main element in sand and quartz. Carbon, silicon, and germanium have a unique property in their electron structure, each with 4 electrons in its outer orbit. This allows them to form nice crystals. The 4 electrons form a perfect covalent bonds. Perfect covalent bonds. Metals tend to be a good conductor of electricity because they usually have free electrons that can move easily between atoms, and electricity involves the flow of electrons. While silicon crystals look metallic, in fact, they are not metals. All of the outer electrons in a silicon crystal are involved in perfect covalent bonds, so they can't move around. A pure silicon is nearly an insulator, so very little electricity will flow through it. But we can change all this through a process called doping. You can change the behavior of silicon and turn it into a conductor by doping it. In doping, you mix a small amount of impurities into the silicon lattice. There are 2 types of impurities, N-type and P-type. In N-type doping, phosphorus and arsenic is added to silicon. Phosphorus and arsenic each have 5 outer electrons in its outer orbit. So they are out of place when they get into silicon lattice. The fifth electron has nothing to bond to, so it's free to move around. Electrons have a negative charge, hence the name n-type. In p-type doping, boron and gallium is the dopant. Boron and gallium each have only 3 outer electrons. When mixed into the silicon crystal, they form holes in the lattice, where a silicon electron has nothing to bond to. The absence of an electron creates an effect of a positive charge, hence the name p-type. Holes can conduct current or happily access an electron to create electricity. It takes only a very small quantity of electricity and impurities to create enough free electrons to allow an electric current. A minute amount of either n-type or p-type doping turns a silicon crystal from a good insulator into a viable conductor, hence the name semiconductor. I hope my speaking might be useful for you. Thank you for listening to my speech.
And our last speaker is Hangbo Myung-chul from class 205, and his title is Will the Artificial Intelligence Dominate the World in the Future? And let's give him a big applause.
Hello everyone, my name is Hangbo Myung-chul, and today's topic is Will an artificial intelligence dominate the world in the future? The match between AlphaGo and Izado 4 years ago shows that artificial intelligence is no longer far away from our lives. 4 years later, so now, we can see that artificial intelligence is already in many areas. So today, what advantage does AI have and why will it dominate the world in the future? In fact, it is hidden in the learning method of AI. As many people know, deep learning is the representative learning method of artificial intelligence. Deep learning is an advanced form of machine learning, and it learns and predicts the future things. In particular, it finds its learning method in the human neural network, and it is also called neural network. Without the need for human beings to enter information, they can without the need for human beings to enter information, they find information on its own, and they find characteristics on its own. And finally, they focus on what they need to focus on. In this regard, the deep learning of AI has been successful, and it will be even more successful in the future. There are some advantages to this learning method of artificial intelligence, and the first is artificial intelligence can predict the future. Artificial intelligence uh, as explained above, artificial intelligence can learn and combine all the data that has been so far to predict what happened in the future. There are so many things that artificial intelligence can do with its future forecasting capabilities. For example, by learning about the data where and when a product people buy and use a product a lot, and they can predict the where and when to place a product to increase sales. Second is it has automatic and fast work. The fact that artificial intelligence learns a lot of data on its own means that it can work quickly and automatically than humans. Artificial intelligence learned through deep learning can make accurate and fast situation judgments and can do it all this automatically. On the other hand, humans takes a lot of times to judge the situation, and the accuracy varies person to person. Third is the cost reduction and convenience. Deep learning can produce the time such as time than humans. Deep learning will not cost time such as humans have to learn large amounts of information directly from machines. Artificial intelligence also learns on its own in all processes, which can greatly reduce the cost of the labor. In other words, when using artificial intelligence, humans can achieve greater cost savings and convenience. So far, we have seen how AI learns and what advantages it has. Given all this, artificial intelligence can be expected to dominate the world in the future. However, the fact that artificial intelligence dominates the world does not mean that it will be the world centered on artificial intelligence with humans at the bottom. But that artificial intelligence will be active in almost field of human beings in a human-centered society. Therefore, we will have to study the artificial intelligence that will be used in all areas of human beings and admit that artificial intelligence will dominate the world in the future. Thank you for listening my speech.
Now, that was the final speech that was planned for today. Let's give them a big applause again. And we will end today's English speech contest. Thank you.